guys, it's Abigail of Ground and Grow Yoga, and I have the second to last part of my yoga journey, and that is hitting rock bottom. So I've talked about before my perfectionism, my worrier state, and my kind of jumping into fitness as a way to numb all of the other things going on in my life. And today, talking about rock bottom, all of these things just accumulated. So near the spring of my first year of teaching high school, so I hadn't quite been married for a year, we had moved recently and had started just this new part of our adult life, I broke out into hives and my heart rate was incredibly fast, and I went to the doctors and trying to figure out what's wrong with me, if I was having allergic reaction, what was going on. I filled out one of those questionnaires they give you about anxiety and depression, and I talked to the doctor and she said that I hadn't scored as having either depression or anxiety, but that I must be lying. And at the time, I was incredibly upset that a professional would tell me that I was lying, tell me that I must have some other issues that I was not disclosing, that essentially telling me that I didn't know my own self. But in reflection, I was lying to myself. I was not dealing with the fact that I was incredibly stressed, incredibly burnt out, trying to learn how to be a teacher, be a wife, be an adult. Things were fine in my life. I didn't have any sort of external issues that were happening because I was internalizing everything. And I got talking with my husband about this, and just the fact that I needed to communicate and I needed to relax. And for those of you that deal with the chakras and are more into that, I was not using my throat chakra. I was not speaking up. I was just taking everything, all the worry, all the stress, all the fear of failure, everything, and just internalizing it. I was not talking to my husband about it. I was not talking to my family about it, or the people at work, not venting about the things going on in my classroom. And my body couldn't handle it anymore. It started to shut down. I broke out in hives. I wasn't sleeping. I had said in the other video that I was very skinny at this point. My digestive system wasn't working properly. My body is essentially just shutting down because it couldn't handle everything I was throwing at it. And this is when I realized that things had to change. If I wanted to be happy, if I wanted to be healthy, I couldn't continue to live the way that I was living. And so one of the major things that I started to do was to talk to people. I made sure that I talked to my husband about my worries, my concerns, my fears of failure, and he stepped up and really opened the lines of communication more than they were before. And I started making sure that I reached out to my mother and some of my friends from college, and just kind of struck those friendships back up as I had let them sort of fall aside in my busyness. And I decided I was going to put myself out at work more and try to, not be eating in my classroom by myself, but actually going to lunch with my coworkers and trying to get to know them. Of course, it was the end of the school year, so that really didn't happen until the next year. But I decided that I needed to change those things in my life, and then I decided that I needed to find something that was going to work for me physically as well. And that is when I started doing more Yoga with Adriene videos on YouTube, and I also found Brett Larkin's videos, and I started doing their YouTube videos and just realized that this was the missing link. So although I had been doing some yoga prior to that in my life, I had never connected to my body. The whole idea with Yoga with Adriene that you need to find what feels good, what feels right for you, really resonated with me. And Brett's idea that everything is dependent on the breath, I realized that I wasn't even really breathing most of the time. I was reciprocally breathing, which means you're not allowing your stomach to kind of puff out and stuff when you're breathing. You're not allowing a full intake of oxygen. You're just very much breathing up in your chest, and you're not nourishing your body with that full breath. And I started doing those two women's videos, and it completely changed the way that I viewed my body, the way that I viewed myself. I started to change the way I was eating, like I said, reaching out and talking to other people, being easier on myself, being kinder to myself and to my body, and making sure to really reevaluate those things. And that's when I realized how much yoga could change my life, and how that was the thing that was missing all along, was this ability to really see where my body is, to see how I'm feeling physically and emotionally, and honor that, and to do something with that. And so the last part of this yoga journey that I'm going to share with you next week is how I decided to become a yoga teacher, and really to help other people to be able to share these experiences that I had learned with all of you. And so I really hope you tune in for the last part of it. I hope that you've enjoyed these videos so far, and that you can relate with my struggle, that it's something that you can connect with and be able to feel like you're not alone. Please share these videos with other people that you think need them. Make sure to leave a like and comment below, and just really show some love so that I can continue to make free content for you guys. And I hope that you join me in the next podcast. So I will talk to you then. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.